We're starting to see some changes in the real estate market, and we are starting to see signs of a market crash. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I hope you guys had a super amazing 4th of July weekend. I hope you guys all had fun and a safe time celebrating with your friends and family. The first real gathering or holiday that we've been able to get together in the last year. It's just really nice to be getting back to normal. That is kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is as things are getting back to normal, pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening in the real estate market and the coming real estate crash. I swear it is without fail every time I go out somewhere, every time I leave my house, whether I see friends or family or acquaintances, somebody always asks me, is the market still doing good? Is it gonna crash? What's going on? And first and foremost, no matter what, the market is always good for someone. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, at some point in time, the market is gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you as a buyer, or it's gonna be good for you as a seller. So whenever people ask me, is the market good? My first thought is, well, are you a buyer or are you a seller? And then I can tell you if the market's good. But as we're getting back to normal, we're starting to see some changes in the real estate market, and we are starting to see signs of a market crash. So that is what this video is about today. I wanted to bring you guys my 7, not tips, but 7 hints that the market is changing and we're balancing out. And if we are headed to a market crash, I'm going to share these 7 hints with you. And before we do that, I want you guys to leave me a comment in the description below. Do you think we are heading for a market crash, or what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market in the next few months or until the beginning of next year? So for my first hint to be on the watch for is that new listings will get 3 or less offers within the first 72 hours of it being on the market. So a few weeks ago, I put a couple new listings on the market, and we had set a date to review offers for one of them, and we did not set a date to review offers for another. And the one that we didn't set a date for, within the first 10 hours, we had 4 over asking offers. Now, that's not normal. In a normal balanced market, that's not normal to have that many offers, especially over asking, within the first few hours of being on the market. So start noticing and start paying attention to how many offers listings are getting and how quickly they're getting that many offers. I bet you'll start seeing that new listings get less than 3 offers within the first 3 days over the next few months. Okay, tip number 2, bidding wars. Bidding wars are gonna start to top out. Maybe 7 to 10% over asking they'll top out at. There was a house in Berkeley, California that had an asking price, and they went $1 million over asking in a bidding war. That is so far from normal, and that cannot be, we just can't sustain that kind of market. So that is gonna come to a stop. Pay attention, watch how those bidding wars go, and I bet you anything you'll start noticing that those bidding wars start topping out at 7 to 10% of what the listing price is. Number 3, and I'm already starting to see this in my market here in Sonoma, California, we are seeing that days on markets are starting to increase. So what I mean by days on market is how many days a listing is on the market until the day it goes pending. We're gonna start to see those days on market numbers increase. Even if it's just 2 days that you see an increase, that's an increase nonetheless, and we're gonna start to see that happen more and more and more frequently. And you're gonna notice that those 2 days are gonna take up to 4 days and 6 days and maybe 8 days. So pay attention to days on market. Okay, hint number 4 that the real estate market is changing, transitioning, is that the new listings every day is going to start growing. Again, I'm already seeing this in my market, and I've been expecting this for a while. As the vaccine rollout's been happening, more and more people are feeling confident in the economy as restrictions are being lifted. All those sellers last year who were scared, who didn't want to let people in their house, who just had a bunch of feelings about selling their house, they were holding on to their houses. They didn't want to sell it, but now the outlook is a little bit more positive and sellers are starting to feel optimistic again. So we are slowly starting to see more listings come on the market. And although summer and fall tends to be more of our slower months, that's when the slow time in real estate starts to pick up or kick in, however you want to say it, I bet we'll see an increase in sellers really putting their houses on the market by like late September, early October, and that'll be a great opportunity for buyers to come in and snag a deal then. Maybe not a great deal, but it'll be better than what we're seeing right now. Okay, tip number 5 that our market is shifting, changing, transitioning is that we're gonna start to see price drops. In the past year, it has not been uncommon that we have a new listing come on the market and like within 2 or 3 days, even a day after it goes on the market, you see that the price has been increased, likely because there's been so much interest that the sellers increase their price. We're not gonna be seeing that. We're gonna start to see those price reductions that we're used to seeing again. And tip number 6, those junk houses, those houses that require a lot of TLC, those houses that most buyers will walk by and not even think twice about, that have been getting retail pricing and prices and sales prices, however you want to say it, all those junk houses that normally wouldn't sell at full selling price are not going to continue to sell at full retail price. We're going to start to see those balance back out and come back down to a normal, realistic listing price, and it'll sell for a realistic price, not these inflated retail prices that are just absolutely crazy to see these houses sell for. Okay, and finally, tip number 7 that our market is changing, appraisal contingencies, inspection contingencies. Buyers will no longer have to waive these in order to make their offer as competitive as possible. We have seen buyers come in and waive their contingency for an inspection, even waive their contingency for an appraisal and say that they will come up with the difference between the appraisal and the sales price. Anything that they can do to make their offer as competitive as possible, they have been doing it. And as our market continues to shift and change out of this ultra competitive seller's market, we will not see that need anymore. Buyers will not have to waive these contingencies. Okay, so that was my 7 tips on what to pay attention to, or my 7 hints on what to be paying attention to for a market slowdown. I might have fibbed a little bit. We are not heading for a market crash. We are seeing a transition in our market. We're transitioning from an ultra seller's market to a more balanced out market. It is not a crash. It is a slowdown. I know many people are thinking we might have a 2008 housing crash coming. People even are hoping we're gonna have a 2008 housing crash come so they can scoop up these super killer deals, but it's not gonna happen, you guys. I'm sorry to say it. The 2008 housing crash was caused by reckless lending. The real estate market we've been seeing over the last year really has been created by true supply and demand issues, so we will not see a repeat of the 2008 housing crash. So again, you guys, we are changing, our market is transitioning, we are having a slowdown in the market, but don't call it a housing crash. All right, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got some helpful and some useful information from this video. As always, guys, I will see you next week. I hope you stay safe and stay sane.